Guys, Chicago Ted, bringing you another Reddit Dota 2 League scrim going on between 5-man Roshan Sacrifice and Top Tier Gaming, if I remember correctly. Trash Tier Gaming. That's a bit of a difference, eh? So I will be bringing you this game in real time. It's going to load as it goes, so this live stream is an actual live stream of the Dota 2 League. I'm going to fix in my in-game mic, open the open mic threshold, and then people on the broadcast can hear me. So I should be talking now on the broadcast as it should be. All right. Two people in the broadcast, welcome. This is Chicago Ted casting for Reddit Dota 2 League and a game of Trash Tier Gaming versus 5-man Roshan Sacrifice. Seems we got a bit of a disconnect here. We might need might be doing a remake. Yep, looks like we got a remake here, so we're going to disconnect on out of here. And we're going to go ahead and join the remake. All right. So I'm looking forward to this game because it seems like these players are pretty equally skilled, and I'm hoping it's going to be a very interesting and fun-filled game for both me to cast and for you guys to watch. I hope it'll also kind of open our eyes a little bit to some other strategies, some that we don't typically see every day, but we'll just go with it and hope it all works out. For those of you who don't know, I will have Sir Rabbit Koala joining me, but he's going to be doing all the editing in-game stuff and won't be talking much at all. He's waving to you guys. All right. So it looks like we're going on again. Yep. So as this loads up, I just want to say I've just hit 400 channel views, and I am pretty psyched about that, you know? Getting bigger every day, right? That's all you can hope for. I'm not doing a Reddit Dota 2 Cast It game tonight, and my schedule is pretty full up for the next few days, and pretty much all of next week I'm going to be missing. So it'll probably be a while. I might be able to do something this upcoming Friday. However, after that, I cannot make any guarantees. Alright, so right off the bat, Nixon Lifestealer, banned out. Pretty standard bans. Two very scary heroes to play against, especially if they become farmed and if they're played by competent players. You're going to have a lot of issues with them.
5 seconds remaining.
But it's pretty much anyone's game in terms of who picks what. We could see some odd picks, we could see standard meta picks, and I'm okay either way as long as we get some good playing out by both teams and some well thought out and well executed strategies going on. I imagine both teams know exactly what they want to do. Magnus coming out for Trash Tier Gaming. Not an average ban you see. Usually he's a picked hero. Not so much popular nowadays because the meta has shifted towards heroes that can easily counter the Magnus, including heroes that can spread out in team fights and be able to synergize well without having to move close together, i.e. mostly ranged heroes with a few spread out melees. Batrider getting banned out. So it looks like the Batrider mid option's missing for both teams. A very strong mid if you play him right. He is able to grab First Blood quite easily and then keep the pressure on all throughout the early to mid game. Treant Protector coming out for Trash Tier Gaming. It's going to provide great and excellent living armor for all of his teammates. Going to make him survive really well in these games, as well as keep his teammates alive. And that is huge in the early game. If you can get aggression going on without being taking hits yourself, that could give you some early last hits, some early kills, a good first or second blood, and just make the goals swing in your favor. And then his abilities scale very well into the late game. allowing him to be able to keep teammates alive longer, keep enemies in one place with his ultimate. Basically a very good utility hero to have. We're going into reserve time for the Radiant's picks. It's only a matter of time now before we see what they pick up. They can still pick up anything, and they go for the Rubik.
Radiant team pick.
Not sure Rubik is first pick material, as it's easy for Trash Tier Gaming now to try to avoid those big team controlling ultimates or stuns or stuff like that. Rubik striving on an ability to get big spells. He's got great early game dominance with Telekinesis and Fade Bolt, doing plenty of damage, allowing his lane to farm up, and even if he takes a middle, just giving him good harass damage. However, into the late game, unless you've got a good plethora of abilities to take away from the enemy team, which, I mean, no matter what you pick, there's going to be good abilities, but it's how the heroes can fight against their abilities being used against them, and we'll see how Trash Tier Gaming picks up their heroes in that manner. Still waiting on a second pick, but again, only one pick out on either board. The game can still go in any direction. They end up picking up the Gyrocopter. Especially with Living Armor out, I'm not sure how solid that pick was. I mean, if you're going for a Darkseer Gyrocopter with maybe, well, the Magnus doesn't have, they don't have the Empower option, maybe a Ogre Magi, just to give him a little extra damage. Honestly, nowadays, I don't really like the Gyrocopter pickup, and I'll tell you why.
10 seconds remaining.
Gyrocopter used to be able to pick up good defensive items that also boosted your attack a little bit. Items like drums, maybe Mantis-style, or just a straight up Yasha, BKB, stuff that doesn't give you too much damage but gives you great defensive capabilities. Nowadays, if you were to do that, having only one flat cannon available in teamfights, you're only going to do a small amount of damage every given teamfight, because you haven't built up damage, you've built up survivability, and that's just going to make you a walking range creep. Especially for Gyrocopter, his Rocket Barrage can burst down rather easily, but if the enemy gets BKBs and you get a BKB, well, where's that Rocket Barrage going then? It doesn't affect the magic immune, and if you're fighting in the midst of 5, or if you're fighting in a creep wave, you're only doing a barely noticeable amount of damage to each person. Whereas with that, with the flat cannon, if you had a ton of damage stacked up on the Gyrocopter, that flat cannon is going to be your saving grace in the late game. But losing out on having low damage not affect flat cannon, or flat cannon not affect his damage output as much now after 6.78, it makes it so that there's a wide margin between the early and the late game, where Gyrocopter has to essentially get a Divine Rapier before he becomes effective in team fights. Because that flak is only coming out once, and you gotta make it count. If it doesn't do any damage, you're sunk. Call Down still being a very good ability, but that's just my 2 cents. Darkseer getting banned out. It looks like that Darkseer Gyrocopter isn't going to happen. The Gyrocopter is going to have to rely mainly on his abilities to catch 5. Maybe we'll see a Void come out. Maybe get his Rocket Barrage before the Void ult comes down so that they get stunned in the barrage. I don't know. But there's just not a lot the Gyrocopter can do. I think at best nowadays he's a support role that needs to get farmed, and that's kind of an awkward situation to be in for a hero. Weaver and Animage getting banned out. Not typical bans you see. Maybe the Animage to try to counter some heavy casters that they're going to pick up later on. Weaver, not a typical ban out. But of course, if I had one bit of advice to give to teams, it would not to be to ban what's on the standard meta. It's to ban what you have the most trouble fighting against. And I give them a lot of respect if that's why they're banning out the Weaver and Animage, because they just, their team comp is not going to be able to fight that well. Picks and bans should not be what you saw in a pro game. They should be exactly tailored to what you want to accomplish in the game. What your strategies are, what your plans are, what items you plan to build, if you think ahead that far. Puck being picked out, a good mid, so that takes out the option for Rubik or Gyrocopter playing mid. Both Rubik, honestly, I think it was better mid than Gyrocopter, but it looks like Puck is just going to take that spot out of his hands, and Rubik definitely going to be playing in a tri-lane with a Gyrocopter, maybe a defensive tri-lane. And we'll see one other follow-up stun, maybe a Jakiro coming out for the Radiant team. Jakiro or Leshrac. Trash Tier Gaming still has yet to pick up their carry. They ban out the Lone Druid, which means they want a...
Reserve time.
Well, no, I don't think they're going to go for a solo safe lane. They're not going to try to fight an offlaner one-on-one. I want to see why they'd ban out the Lone Druid then. I wonder what their plan is. I'm trying to think of what Lone Druid hard counters in the early game, and really Lone Druid is hard countered in the early game until he gets entangled. Leshrac actually coming out for Trash Tier Gaming. They have a very significant tri-lane coming out with Shadow Demon and Leshrac. That disruption setting up into a timed Split Earth does a lot of damage from the Split Earth and is a very long stun. Split Earth being 2 seconds in and of itself, disruption giving plenty of time for the 2.5 seconds, plenty of time for his allies to set up. Treant Protector, I imagine, is going to just sit in the off lane, as they wouldn't tri-lane a Treant, a Shadow Demon, and a Leshrac. If I were to make a guess, Trash Tier Gaming is going to pick up a Sven.
Reserve time.
Well, Radiant, this pick, maybe a Jakiro or an offlaner like Windrunner. We've got to see what they go. They only got 16 seconds left on reserve time. Well, that's their offlaner, Clockwork. Completely forgot about Clockwork, actually. He has great initiation, though. Great survivability in lane. Even if the disruption does come off from the Shadow Demon, once he gets out, if he can pop cogs before the Split Earth comes, even if he gets stunned out right there, he's got a great way to just get out and defuse a situation.
10 seconds.
Of course, though, a well-timed Split Earth from a disruption will make it almost impossible for the Clockwork to keep his enemies off him. If anything, he'll trap them inside the cogs, and that's not something you want to do, especially if Trash Tier picks up a Sven. But of course, it's whatever they want. Templar Assassin, they needed a mid, they got a mid. And Templar, I think Puck wins if on equal footing. A Puck will win against a Templar, only because if the Puck is competent, he can phase shift out of that armor reduction. Although the refraction shield is going to be a bit difficult for him to get through, as Puck's attack speed is not really great and he doesn't have any DOT, which burns down the charges. Looks like Spectre being banned out. I suppose that would be another possible ban for the Dire team, but it looks like they're going more for push power. And so I think they're going to get a carry that really works with that.
10 seconds remaining.
Spectre, not so much. Spectre's more of a global ganking carry.
5 seconds.
She can be anywhere at once, anywhere she needs to be once she hits level 6. Lina coming out. Another good tri-lane hero. In fact, that's exactly what Radiant needed. I still think they're going to grab a Jakiro, though. I think in this situation, the Jakiro would be much better than a Lina. Only because if the Jakiro can get his Macro Pyre down, there's a lot of potential for that Macro Pyre to hit plenty of heroes and keep them in there. Especially with the Gyrocopter's call down and the Puck's
10 seconds remaining.
Puck's ultimate.
5 seconds remaining.
He can just keep him in a close Macro Pyre. Of course, it's completely up to them. 6 seconds left on reserve time, and they go with the Lion.
Dire team pick.
So they go with the high nuke damage. I suppose it could work. The Hex, the stun and the nuke. We'll just have to wait and see. Trash Tier Gaming picking up the Faceless Void. Faceless Void gonna be a difficult hero to counter with the hero spread that's on right now. Every single, well, almost every single stun requiring them to get fairly close. I guess Rocket, Barrage, not so much. You know what? No. It looks like, actually, if they can stay spread apart, the Faceless Void ultimate won't do much until he gets a BKB. So let's see if they're laning how we think they're going to lane. And I honestly think that these lanes are incredibly predictable. There's not much else they can do. If Leshrac mid? Looks like the Rocket trying to scout out who's going where, but calling it out. They already moved out long ago. And yeah, the Leshrac, he's definitely going bottom. I couldn't imagine a Leshrac going mid, especially with a Templar Assassin picked out. And we're definitely seeing the tri-lane bottom. Ward, though. Ward on the pole, which is very good for the Dire team. Doesn't look like Radiant has any sentry wards to counter that. So they're just going to have a warded pull, which is not too great for a defensive tri-lane. They need to keep the wave back behind the tower and zone out the offlaner. If they can't do that, then there's no real point in a defensive tri-lane. They obviously know that it's there. They know that both of them are there, pinging both of them. And Treant, the big tree guy running at the speed of sound. I tell you, that is just... it just looks hilarious. I'm sorry. It looks absolutely hilarious. Alright. Sentry wards out on Leshrac, actually. But their pull isn't warded, and I think they know it. They didn't see the clockwork. Although, he is beautiful rocket flare, but it was just too early. Barely too early. He's going to need to fix the timing on that. Meanwhile, Treant almost getting called out, taking a little bit of auto attack damage, but with the living armor, not even the stuns will be able to take him out. Clockwork, gonna see disruption? No, okay. The rest of the team isn't quite there yet to help out with the disruption, but the creep wave is being pulled around. Nah, just standard creep maneuvering going on. Clockwork sitting off lane, might be trying to go for a gank on the puck. Faceless Void pausing the game. Looks like we have a quick reconnect. Not really much to talk about yet. We haven't seen any aggression coming out. Looks like we're going to see a gyrocopter go in early tranquils, which he's then going to build into a phase boot. Well, a pair of phase boots, rather. We see the standard triple branch and consumables on all the supports. Really, I mean, I don't know what else I was expecting. And Dire's free to just pull their camp. Faceless Void opting for the Quelling Blade. Not sure I agree. Well, you know, if a Quelling Blade helps you get a few more last hits, then it's well worth it. Otherwise, you know, a Quelling Blade really versus a Clockwork offlane, you're not really fighting anyone for those last hits, so you shouldn't have to have a Quelling Blade. Although it could be for those times when you run into the trees and need the Quelling Blade around. I don't know. Shadow Demon coming back in, so we're gonna get this game rolling back on again. It looks like Refraction doing great work for the Templar Assassin, allowing her to harass out that puck a little more than she's getting, but all in all, not at great mana. She does have a bottle, though. She can just pick that up, yep, and she goes right ahead. Puck still ways away from her bottle, so it'll be interesting to see how the early bottle on the Templar Assassin pays out. Although the wave is pushing, so. And it looks like The camp has been warded. Not sure if Leshrac spotted that one out yet, but obviously with a Shadow Demon having sentry wards, they have to know very soon. Faceless Void doing a great job farming up, sitting 8 and 5. Got as many last hits as a Gyrocopter, so still pretty standard farm on both the carries. And pretty equally distributed. Wave coming under tower for Faceless Void, though. He's going to boost in last hits a little bit here. Especially with that Quelling Blade, he can just auto last hit this range creep with the 2 tower hits, which you can't do ordinarily. You have to butter up the range creep a little bit.
No, 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 no.
So 11 and 6 on the Faceless Void versus 9 and 4. And it looks like Treant just so tanky right now. They're not going to be able to get much harassed. Disruption coming on the Shadow Demon, though. Maybe. No, it's not going to happen. Shadow Demon, Clockwork. Going to hold back for that one. So both defensive tri-lanes doing exactly what they need to do. Getting their carries some farm. Puck actually losing to the Templar Assassin heavily in this mid lane. Puck sitting 5-0 while Templars 13 and 6. And Puck at half health. Looks like both teams are standing kind of back. Puck bringing out his bottle. Finally going to get the bottle out. Templar Assassin already having the bottle, but needing to crow it. And with a walking courier, the crow is not easy. Clockwork got caught out completely. Looks like the combo went down, and Clockwork does fall first. This gives Faceless Void lots of gold. In fact, he's sitting at 1,500 net worth. If he wanted a Hand of Midas early, he could very well have one soon. Puck getting auto attack down, but Refraction Shield just barely falling off for the Templar Assassin. She's sitting quite low. One orb, if this hits, it could be very bad, but it's very an easy orb to dodge out. Meanwhile, Clockwork getting caught out again, but this time the Cog's saving him just slightly. Void sitting, had 1,400 gold. Not sure what happened with it, but I could have just misread it. Templar going for the rune. Definitely going to have the rune control, especially considering that... Well, no, they each have a awarded rune. Puck getting completely caught out. Does have the Metal Strike on, though. A few auto attacks, and this Puck could very well go down. And he does! Not a phase shift. A single phase shift coming out for the Puck. He gets hit by every single auto attack. And right now it's 2-0 on the board. Faceless Void 24 and 7. And as of right now, not looking too good for the Radiant team.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, too good for the Radiant team. Things coming out. The Sentry Ward was placed, but do they quite see the Observer Ward? No. Observer Ward just out of range. 6.78, reducing the range that the Observer can see. Puck getting a little bit of auto attack damage, but it's pretty inconsequential. Void sitting at 1,800 gold. Not sure is the little hastening on the courier, and he is able to catch out the Clockwork and the Cogs, and he's actually going to be able to burst down the Clockwork. The Leshrac securing the kill. Unneeded waste of mana right there, but it got the kill. Made sure the kill happened, and the Clockwork does go down. Faceless Void, 2,000 gold early. Not sure what he's going for. Maybe an Ancient Relic gonna pick up in a Radiance? I don't know. Maybe a Radiance is good in the Chronosphere. Who knows? Still think that Midas is gonna come out though. He might just try to buy it straight up from the shop and have the courier bring it in. At 5 minutes, it's a pretty good time for a Midas. 6 minutes. Yeah, 70 gold and he's 60 gold and he's got that Midas, and that's pretty early. Gyrocopter doesn't go for the Tranquils, instead goes straight for the Ring of Akula. Mid, ganks happening, and the Puck, the orb comes out in the silence. That is a very Templar Assassin. No! Templar Assassin getting out barely on a little bit of health. And no one goes down as of right yet. Templar Assassin picks up a lucky regen rune. She's going to come right on back. 2 heroes versus 3. If Dire decides to die this, it could be problematic. Faceless Void still sitting on 2,400 gold and doing very well. Meanwhile, Miz being pushed in on Lion, getting focused down. A few auto attacks. No, he pops the heal. He might get out. No, one auto attack from the Templar Assassin. Meanwhile, Puck, the next target. The slow happens, and that's just one auto attack. Puck quickly going down.
I saw that ending.
Faceless Void wanting a bit of aggression. Sitting at 2,100 gold. In fact, he bought the boots. He's sitting at 2,200 gold, and he hasn't bought anything. I wonder what he could be going for. Saving for buyback, maybe? I don't know. Gyrocopter does have his phase boots. 7 minutes, pretty good timing. Probably going to go for a Yasha next, or maybe a Drums of Endurance. As I said, Gyrocopter being able to farm up those defensive items. In fact, it used to be the popular thing to do. Metal Strike coming out on the Puck, and one more auto attack. And this Templar Assassin absolutely dominating the Puck in the mid lane. The Dream Coil coming out, but not doing enough. And Faceless Void buying up. It looks like Faceless Void is going to grab a Maelstrom. Faceless Void looking for an 8-minute Maelstrom. The Mithril Hammer and the Gloves of Haste coming out. Faceless Void going for early relevance instead of late game carry. And the Chronosphere coming out. But the Shadow Demon, he disrupts them. The Chronosphere was completely useless. But Faceless Void still getting the kill. Probably could have had that Chronosphere for a later time, but hey, Chronospheres are meant to set up disruptions, eh? At least that's what it looks like. Faceless Void, if he's going for Maelstrom, he could definitely afford it right now. Sitting at 800 gold, it's just 600 for the recipe.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And this tower is in trouble. Yep, Maelstrom pick up by the Faceless Void. I was not expecting that. I honestly wasn't. One of the more popular or less known builds I've been experimenting with is the double Maelstrom build. We might see the Faceless Void going for that double Maelstrom, which of course gives excellent chain lightning potential, even especially in that Chronosphere, and the attack damage or attack speed and damage is an amazing help early game. See RE 24 plus 25 to the attack speed. And then you can just build it into double Maelstrom if you get a lot of farm. If not, you can just build other items. So, a definitely really good build. The disruption coming on the Clockwork, not lasting long enough. The Shadow Demon able to pick up the last hit. Puck going on the Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin getting a bit cocky here. Might go down to auto attacks. Yes! The orb comes out and is able to burst her down really quickly. Meanwhile, top tier 1 tower is going to fall. So an amazing kill. The one hero that you don't want to lose in the game, especially at 10 minutes into the game, is your mid hero, because the mid hero is going to be pretty much the highest level on the team. In fact, if we can look at the level, yeah. Templar Assassin sitting at level 10. The Puck skyrocketing up to level 8 after that kill. Good XP and good gold coming from those kills. It looks like a disruption coming in on the mid lane. Rotation. Rotation was the word I was looking for. Could have been a disruption though, but they're not going to find it. They're going to back off. Meanwhile, bottom tier 1 tower being pushed into, but this is exactly what the Gyro wants. Picking up the Blade of Alacrity, he's going for a Yasha. Gonna skip the Drums of Endurance, which I halfway agree with. As I said, if you build defensive items in the Gyro, you're in for a bad time, because that Flat Cannon, which is something that you need to have in the late game, and the mid game to provide your damage output. If that doesn't do enough damage, then you're sunk. Tier 1 mid going down really quickly. The Chronosphere is up. All he needs is a quick one, but no, he gets fingered right before he can take it out. Unfortunately though, the Templar Assassin with her Metal Strike with a few auto attacks is able to burst down 2 of the opponents. Leshrac able to finish off the Lion. but the Clockwork Cogs in. Templar Assassin, though, doing plenty of damage with that refraction.
Death was a secret I
The
could
phase
no
coming
longer
out to
hide.
block out the auto attack from the Templar, but the Templar with the living armor going to be able to do a lot. The phase out from the Metal Strike, though, absolutely beautiful, and the Gyrocopter rotates in. Doesn't have his stun, though. He's not going to be able to do too much. Uses Rocket Barrage to cancel out the living armor. They're going to try to chase her down. Refraction, though, coming out. The meld about to happen. The Chrono if they need it, but they might not need it. All Faceless Void has to do is jump in. Although, 4 up. The Faceless Void caught in the outskirts. He needs a Chrono, and he gets it on 4. But the Gyrocopter ultimate doing plenty of damage. The Maelstrom, not quite enough. The Rocket Barrage able to burst him down and take the Shadow Demon as a extra prize.
That's for your impertinence.
Great fighting on the Radiant side. Able to pull back what seemed like an unwinnable fight after they get a great stun on the Faceless Void. And then by the time the Chronosphere happens, the ultimate already called down from the Gyrocopter, doing plenty of damage to the Faceless Void so that when that Chrono came off, the Faceless Void just not able to stay alive. And we see how the Maelstrom just isn't doing exactly what he wants it to. He does pick up the boots for extra tankiness and attack speed though, and we're going to see that come into play rather soon. Looks like Leshrac wanting to catch someone out, but there's 4 here. The Lion, though, might be just what he's looking for. The Lion is alone. And all we need is a stun, which lands, and then the Diabolic Edict just able to burst down the last of the Lion's health. Teleportation coming in.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yo,
attack.
dog, I heard you like Rubik's. Coming in and stealing your spells. And the Arcanes coming out for the Leshrac, going to make it so the stuns are going to be, or the mana is going to be almost infinite. Mech almost out for the Treon Protector. Call down, coming down, but absolutely missing. No, Leshrac walks right into it. And Rubik steals the Leshrac Split Earth and is able to get it down on both
Radiant's
Leshrac
top tower is
and
under
Treon
attack.
Protector, taking them out. Meanwhile,
Dire's
it
bottom
looks
tower
like
is under attack.
Clockwork and Templar Assassin getting in on it a little bit. Templar Assassin obviously taking down Clockwork in the mid lane.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Tier 1 tower bottom, taking a lot of damage and is probably going to fall here. Yasha already out for the Gyrocopter. Going to give him a little bit of extra damage. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes straight for maybe a Helm of the Dominator and a BKB, and then just rush straight for the Divine Rapier. It's something that I honestly, at this point, completely advocate. You need
Radiant's
damage. A
middle
Divine
tower
Rapier
is
or
under
a
attack.
Butterfly is definitely needed. If you go completely defensive as Gyro, as I said, as I ranted on like for 5 minutes during the picking, then you're just a walking range creep with a decent ulti. Templar Assassin got the double damage rune. That
Radiant's
with
top
Meld is
tower
going to
is
be
under attack.
absolutely devastating to any hero that gets caught out. If they're able to land the Split Earth, maybe even more pain and suffering. Rubik, though, sitting bottom lane, still has the Split Earth to his disposal, although it's going down really soon. So he's not going to be able to do too much with it. Clockwork, not with many items, still hasn't finished his bracer yet. So Clockwork very slow on farm. A hero that really needs tanky items. Like, I honestly think a Vanguard or even a Blade Mail on a Clockwork is a really great pickup to have, because he's going to be the one initiating into all the heroes. And if he doesn't stay alive for very long, sure, you got a great stun, but that the shrapnel plus the rocket flare is doing amazing damage throughout the entangle or disruption inside the power cogs. If he's not able to stay alive very long to get that all off, then the enemy team isn't really taking too much follow-up damage from that. I mean, of course, they could just be taking damage from the rest of the team, but I mean, those mini stuns really help. Ancient stack. Quite a big ancient stack. It looks like they got 3 down on there. Going to be great XP and great goal for the Templar
Radiant's
Assassin,
top tower
who's picking
is
up a
under
Yasha.
attack.
A good
Dire's
pickup for a
middle
Templar
tower is
Assassin.
under attack.
Going to be making her attack speed a little bit better and then boosting her damage a little bit. Gyro Looks like he intends to, he's picked up the, yep, going for drums. He actually does go for the drums, but after Yasha. Drums Yasha, a very decent build to have. And yeah, a Drum of Endurance plus 9 to all of, 9 to all stats. One of the most cost-efficient items out there. Second really only to the Fusel Blade, which I think is one of the best because of the 850 plus 8 attribute upgrade, plus the overall utility of the item as a whole. I mean, Mana Leak and Slow and Buff Purge. I mean, how you just can't go wrong with that. Plus the good stats it provides to int and agility heroes.
Radiant's top
That's
tower
huge.
is under attack.
It's big stuff. Dire team actually looking a bit on the back foot as just so many utility stuns on the Radiant team is going to carry them through the early mid game, but of course Gyrocopter losing effectiveness as the Rocket Barrage starts hitting for less and less damage. Faceless Void, haven't seen the next big item come out yet. Doesn't look like he's going to go for the double Maelstrom, but Frost possibly could if he wanted to. Still 2,300 gold. Not sure what he's going to go for next. I wouldn't be surprised if he just straight picks up a BKB. The stun coming out from the Lion, but it's just not enough. The living armor protecting him for most of the damage. And the hook landing on the Leshrac. Leshrac gonna go down to basic auto attacks here. Gonna get disrupted by the shouting, but they're in a pit right now, being attacked from the high ground. They can't do anything. And a few big nukes coming down. What do they have left? They've got a Templar Assassin who's doing good damage, but they've already lost 2 and they're gonna disengage. In this case, Call Down doing great damage. Faceless Void could probably just plow right in and do a lot of damage. He ends up dropping the ulti and a few auto attacks. Great damage coming out. He's just going to burst down the Lion with pure auto attack potential. Clockwork though, getting down the Templar Assassin, leaving this tower almost completely wide open. Templar Assassin providing most of the damage output. And it looks like Psionic Trap stolen out by the Rubik.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
While Radiant's tier 2 top takes a lot of damage. Would he get disruption? No. Shadow Poison out on the Rubik. Turning Rubik into a mini Shadow Demon here. Shadow Poison, one of Shadow Demon's best abilities in lane. It's good harass, got a lot of damage over time, and it stacks a few times. A good offensive ward coming out. Right outside of range of tower, I believe, so gonna provide great sight as to what Radiant's doing in lane. Puck got his Blink Dagger a while back, still hasn't gotten any boots. I imagine he would be going for Arcanes though. And Gyrocopter aiming to push top. Goes for the BKB. Already got his Ogre Club out. I doubt he's going for a Basher, but hey, I've seen weirder. And full on Maelstrom. Coming out from the Faceless Void. I don't know. Someone already did the map on that, so I can't quite quote exactly what's going on. But I think it was determined that double Maelstrom, despite using 2 spaces, is actually overall better than getting Mjolnir. However, great attack damage coming out. The bash isn't even needed, the Melt Strike just completely bursting down the Lion. And the Lion and Gyrocopter go down. That's good gold for the Faceless Void to pick up. Sitting again at 1,400 gold already right after that Mjolnir pickup. Shadow Demon, the only casualty in that, but trading a Shadow Demon for a Gyrocopter and Lion, that's a brilliant trade in my book. Treant Protector got his mechanism a while ago. Still hasn't picked up his next item. But again, probably going to see an Arcane Boot. Not sure what Puck's building that Bracer into, if he's building it into anything. I think you can only build it, yeah, you can only build it into a Drums of Endurance. So it's probably just a casual Bracer to give him a little extra strength. translating into some good health. Still, not really many giant items except for kind of mid-tier items on the gyrocopter and the Templar Assassin. Mjolnir, only real top tier item out, and it's out in a relatively short time, 21 minutes. That's a pretty expensive item to get out in that time. So looking at 5,400 gold, so not bad at all for a Faceless Void, especially sitting on top of power treads on top of that. Templar Assassin looks like he wants something, but finds himself in the middle of 3. The dust comes out, meaning there's no escape. He's going to have to rely on the rotations coming in. And the disruption completely blocking out the hook. But the puck coming in and getting revenge on the Shadow Demon for that. Blinking back. There's just so much going on. The Templar Assassin getting saved out, so she's doing a lot of damage. The Faceless Void, though, the Chrono comes out, taking out the Rubik right away. But there's too much damage on the Faceless Void. Getting hexed up, and he's going to go down. Faceless Void going down. Shadow Demon going down. It looks like Treant Protector and Templar Assassin going down, all for the price of a Rubik and a Clockwork. Templar buying back and teleporting to lane. Could easily burst down the Gyrocopter if she wanted to. It looks like she's going to go for it, in fact. But the stun, barely missing out, but she can catch the puck any day. No. They both get out. Templar Assassin without a Blink Dagger can't really chase. Bottom tower being pushed by the Leshrac alone. The Diabolic Edict doing great work, but they're not going to be able to stun out the Leshrac in time. 3-man rotation coming in bottom. Gyrocopter just needs to get back and heal. So right now, it looks like Faceless Void can probably... No, they got pretty badly hurt in that last game, but still sitting on top of 2k gold. Definitely, I honestly think they're going to go for the BKB next. Seeing just how much damage that Rocket Barrage can do to him, even when he's in the Chronosphere. So,
Radiant's top tower is
BKB completely blocking that out. Definitely might see that picked up later on. Still got his salve. Not sure why he still got that. Probably could sell it for a little extra bonus, but holding it for a rainy day, I suppose. Treant does get out the Arcane Boots, and Templar looking for her next item. Still almost there. She can almost buy up that Mithril Hammer for the BKB. It's very close to coming out. Faceless Void, I was wrong. He goes for the Crystallis instead. Stacking attack speed with Crystallis. Might go for a Mask of Madness lifesteal next. Clockwork getting completely caught out by that Templar Assassin. The Clockwork gonna go down without a second thought. Probably could have Cogs maybe there, seeing as the Templar Assassin doesn't have the Blink Dagger. If he had dropped down the Cogs and pushed the Templar back a little bit, probably could have walked away a little bit. His hook was up, so if he could at least walk away and then get the hook onto his teammates, he could have gotten out just safe and sound. Would have wasted a little bit of a cooldown, but 55 seconds versus dying, being out for a couple 30 or 40 seconds anyway, and then losing out on major farm, it's just not where you want to be. So I think using that cooldown instead of just going down there would have been a better option for him, but we'll see how it plays out for him later on. Looks like Dire might be camping out the Roshan. They do have the Mel Strike from the Templar Assassin, and they do have the Faceless Void. Yep, the ping's coming out for Roshan. Gyrocopter does indeed pick up the BKB. Faceless Void just pushing out top lane casually. Not even going to bother with the Roshan. Doesn't have lifesteal, so he just probably just decided that he doesn't even want to take part in it. It looks like Radiant, though, not totally aware that they are taking out Roshan just yet. They're going for the middle tier 1 tower. Roshan is gonna fall. In fact, Faceless Void also looking at the tier 3 tower on bottom. Radiant side picking up the top mid tier 1, but for in what price? Faceless Void doing great damage to the tier 1 top. They do pick up Aegis the Immortal, and right now Radiant has nothing. No TP's in yet for the top tier 3. They're still going in for the the mid lane. Templar Assassin with that Aegis doing great damage versus the Treant Protector. No Strike obviously not happening through the BKB. Rocket Barrage though not doing too much. It looks like Faceless Void TPing in just for the sake of helping out in the fight. But it was a little too late, even despite the Aegis coming out. it looks like Radiant took that team fight into their favor. Faceless Void probably could have just stayed back and taken the top tier 3, but instead, Templar Assassin staying a little bit too close, drops the Aegis in his perfect position to go down yet again. The Hex, the stun gonna follow up. Maybe, no, the Cog's completely missing. And the Templar Assassin gonna get right out. Meanwhile, Chronosphere coming in. But the Refraction being stolen out by the Rubik, keeping him completely alive and unharmed. However, Strike doing plenty of damage. The Rubik does go down anyway.
So we could not let you live.
Still going in favor for the Radiant side, taking out both the tier 1 and the tier 2 mid, and then winning a 4-man wipe, or a 3-man wipe on the Dire side, while losing only the Rubik as a casualty in that. Dire still had Roshan under their sleeves, but they don't have the Aegis to back them up anymore. Still have the gold bonus, but pretty much lost that when the 3 heroes on their team died. Faceless Void still staying alive, picks up the Demon Edge. He's going for a quick Daedalus. Despite disruptions, despite stuns, he's completely foregoing the BKB and going straight for a Daedalus and the Mjolnir. 2 items that I don't think synergize too well. I mean, Mjolnir obviously boosting attack speed, but not by a too much of a noticeable margin. I think the Daedalus is much better suited with a Battle Fury pickup. The Mjolnir obviously doing crowd control, but in its own way. Meanwhile, Battle Fury just spreading out that that crit damage across a few targets. If he groups them up before he Chronos, that's a lot of damage going out among a few heroes instead of just one. Mjolnir, I honestly think he could have gone for the BKB and maybe a Butterfly to just increase those Mjolnir procs. Maybe a second Mjolnir just to like make sure it's a lightning storm with that Faceless Void. Like, you want to be a Razor with the Faceless Void. You want lightning coming out of every hole in his body, every weapon of his body. It's Super Saiyan mode, folks, and this Faceless Void just isn't man enough to do it. Still, I mean, Daedalus, don't get me wrong, it's a great item to have in a Faceless Void. You're trying to increase your damage output inside that Chronosphere. I'm just saying, the synergy with the Mjolnir isn't as good as the synergy with, say, a Mask of Madness and a Battle Fury. And especially if this Faceless Void is just pushing towers, which is it looks like he's mostly doing. In which case, the Daedalus is not going to help him near at all. Sitting inside the jungle. He could catch out the Clockwork alone if he wanted to. If he gets vision, no, the Clockwork backing off. And it looks like a double damage rune spotted by the Templar Assassin. Again, the meld damage plus the double damage is going to do great work. Faceless Void still sitting in the side. Not quite sure what he intends to do. I think he knows by now that the team is rotated mid, but he's still afraid. He's still afraid to get caught out. I mean, he has a Chronosphere and the jump, and he has his completed Daedalus if he wants it. He can just buy out the recipe and have it transported to him via courier, via nice little Smeevil going on here with the makeshift wings. Plain old donkey on the Radiant side. Quite boring if you ask me, but you know what? Nothing wrong with the classics. Faceless Void finally just backing off. So I'll take this time to look at the graphs here. And just what I expected, Dire sitting on a XP and gold advantage. As they do have the hard carry, the Faceless Void, carrying pretty well. I mean, Radiant has great aggression right now. But until they get the massive damage output, they're not going to be able to do much. And it looks like Gyrocopter going completely defensive. He could just rush out a Divine Rapier right now if you wanted to. In fact, I completely advocate the Divine Rapier pickup. They're sitting 10,000 gold deficit. If they pick up the Divine Rapier, it's going to help equalize that out a little bit. Until then, though, you have the Templar Assassin hitting for about 200 damage without the double damage rune. With Meld on top of that, including the fact that she will not get hit by nearly anything. Then you've got the Faceless Void, going to be Daedalus attacking with a Mjolnir procs coming out. Leshrac with Diabolic Edict and Pulse Snubber doing almost ungodly amounts of damage. A little bit of disruption going on mid. It's a defensive disruption to create illusions.
Ours.
I'm not quite sure what the plan was there. Probably using it to try to unblock himself, maybe. A little bit of cheeky plays within the team going on there. Hey, whatever floats their boat, right? A little bit of low in the action right now, so I mean, if you want to have a little fun with your heroes, go right ahead. 5 minutes till Roshan. They're pinging it. I'm not sure why they should know that only 5 minutes have passed. I mean, really? Keep a Roshan timer. They're smoking. They're going to go try to smoke gank the Roshan pit. That literally has 5 minutes left. Catching out, buying the Ancient Stack, but they're going to be figured out pretty soon. Ancient Stack, though, going completely in the way of this Gyrocopter. That's a lot of gold. That can be his Demon Edge coming out. Meanwhile, Phases Void catching 2 in his Chronosphere. They need to disengage. He's got another Chronosphere. No, the Rubik took the Chronosphere, giving him a free extra Chronosphere to catch out the Gyrocopter with. That Gyrocopter's going down. It looks like the Treant goes down that fight, but it's a full 5-man wipe, a dominating spree on the Templar Assassin. They're going to just push the bottom racks right now because they can. Rubik stealing out the Faceless Void ulti and using it to practically kill his own Gyrocopter. I mean, they already lost 2 heroes. They should have disengaged, but he kept the Gyrocopter in, which meant they had to do the 4 protect 1. Gyrocopter never getting a chance to pick up a Demon Edge if he needed it, so he's sitting at quite a bit of a gold deficit. BKB obviously not helping you through the Chronosphere. Chronosphere just canceling you out. Lion getting caught in the middle, the Metal Strike gonna come out, and a few auto attacks. Mega kill out for the Templar Assassin, and this Drax is gonna go down. The hook in, but doing absolutely nothing. In fact, he catches the Templar Assassin in with him. He's just gonna go down the puck as well. Sitting in, wasting out his phase shift. A little bit of auto attack damage, but most of it's just being phase shifted and avoided out. They can't do anything. The Waning Rift coming out on absolutely no one. This is a completely dead bottom racks. Treant Protector joining back into this game. Respawning. This game's going to get back going real soon as the Treant Protector did reconnect. So Radiant, down a Rax, down what looks like a complete drop in the XP difference graph, and an even farther drop in the gold graph. Bomb Rax completely gone. Dream Coil called on 2. Call down ulti. They're definitely going to secure at least 1 kill here. Gyrocopter finishing off a last auto attack. The dust on the Templar Assassin going to make it so that she can't just barely get out. The puck just bursting him down with a little bit of auto attack. Templar Assassin sitting at 3,800 gold despite going down. Gyrocopter going to probably go and pick up a Demon Edge. Looks like they did get the Ancient Stack though. Flat Cannon. Gyrocopter does have pretty decent damage right now. I won't lie. Flat Cannon doing a lot. He might just go straight for the Ancient Relic instead of the Demon Edge. I still think he should go for the Divine Rapier. I strongly advocate the Divine Rapier right now. Yeah, he's just going to sell an item and pick up his Sacred Relic. Come on, do it. Do it. Do it. Yep. Here it goes. Here it goes, Sacred Relic. Come on. Come on, dude. No, what? Okay. I guess just saving for buyback, maybe? I mean, let's look. Yeah, he's got buyback, so... Alright. Decent pickup by him. He's still got 2,200 gold, sorry, to pick up before he can pick up that Divine Rapier, but hey. He could be going for Monkey King Bar, though. I wouldn't put it past him if he decide to do that. It's another good damage item if he really wants to pick it up. But it doesn't look like any sign of Butterfly coming out for the Dire team. Faceless Void getting caught out. However, does get the TP before the aura finds him. Desolator coming out on the Templar Assassin. Sanj out on the Shadow Demon. I'm lost. Shadow Demon with us picking up a Sanj and picking up a second Ogre Club to boot. Is he going double Sanj?
Dire's top
I
tower
want to
is
see
under
him go
attack.
double Sanj. I want to see a lot of double, actually. Let's see a double Divine Rapier on the Gyrocopter. He's almost got it, right, folks? So there's a moment of truth where we see whether the Gyrocopter is going for the Divine Rapier or if he's going to go for the MKB. If this tower goes down, it'll give him enough gold for the MKB. If he picks it up, then that's what we're seeing.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Diabolic Edict is not up there yet. In fact, it's the completely wrong
Dire's
team.
structures are fortified.
So, top tier 2 being traded for the mid tier 2 on the Radiant, except Radiant Dire's got so much more pushing power. There are no TPs out on anyone
Radiant's
except for
middle tower is
the
under
puck.
attack. Radiant's middle tower
And they're just not able to. Middle Rax is going to go completely down. No, the Rax staying alive for the little bit. Gyrocopter walking right over a Templar Assassin trap. But they don't turn around to engage on him. And Gyrocopter sitting 600 gold away from that Divine Rapier.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
He can farm that up really quick. A flat can, a few creep waves. Or just auto attack him down. That's cool too. 300 gold
Roshan
away.
has fallen to the Dire.
Sorry, 400 gold away. Come on, Gyro. You can do this. You can do this, man. Let's see it. Now he's 300 gold away. All he needs to do is go for the Ancient Camp. Or just have the Courier go and pick up the Ancient Relic for him. Black Hand does come out. Quite a bit of gold. 160 gold away. He's one Ancient Camp away, folks. One Ancient Camp away from Divine Rapier. They do have wards in the enemy jungle, so I don't know why he's not going for it. Just go for the Ancient Camp, bro. You know where they all are. You can see them walking underneath their wards. Nope. He decides it's not worth it. He goes for the MKB, folks. In my completely honest opinion, I think that was dumb. I really do. I mean, okay. Granted, Faceless Void, if he gets a Chronosphere of his life on the Gyrocopter, brilliant. But all the Gyrocopter has to do, folks, is sit back behind his team, wait for the Faceless Void to pop the ultimate, hope that at least one person on his team is able to get out to disrupt the Faceless Void while it's happening, walk right in, pop his BKB, pop his flat cannon, and then right now, automatically, you're looking at Shadow Demon dead, you're looking at Leshrac dead, hell, you're looking at the Faceless Void even, completely dead. Shadow Demon, though, does pick up the double Sanj. Faceless Void could completely punish, or the Gyrocopter could punish that with the Divine Rapier, but instead goes for the MKB, which does not go through backtrack. So right now, Gyro sitting on 300 damage alone, but it's not going to be enough. They need some really nice team fights for that to be enough, with only one flat cannon coming out per team fight. And Templar Assassin with Meld Strike, reducing 8 armor, and then Desolator reducing another 7. That's reducing everyone on the Radiant team to negative armor. No matter who they catch out. Okay, Gyrocopter, the only one who will sit at plus... What is it going to be? Plus 7 armor after that? Everyone else, though, sitting at either 0 or negative armor after that meld, after that Desolator proc hits. And then if he decides to pick up a Medallion of Courage, I mean, that's just a wet noodle slap to the face, honestly. Gyrocopter looks like he's planning on a bit more. There's still hope for that Divine Rapier, folks. In fact, sitting on enough for another Demon Edge. One good team fight, and that could very well be a Divine Rapier. The Void, though, hopping in, popping the Chronosphere. There's no disruption as the BKB comes out. The Gyrocopter going completely down. Sorry, folks. I could have been wrong. If he had the Divine Rapier there, it would have been a complete and utter GG. However, I still think he needed it. Gyrocopter coming out, Flat Cannon, doing a good amount of damage, but just not enough. He's not staying alive to the side blade. The Phaseless Void does go down to the Flak, but does have the Aegis the Immortal. Buyback on the puck, but it's all dead. No, now's the buyback on the puck. It looks like the Temper Assassin did go down, was coming back in. That's middle racks down though. Pings on the top racks. They're going to go for Mega Creeps this game. Once Mega Creeps happens, folks, Gyrocopter out for 50 seconds. This game's over. GG is being called out by the Clockwork. Fast-paced game. 60 kills in 41 minutes. But you can't deny 2k gold and XP disadvantage for the Radiant team. And the GG well plays come out. Blinkless TA, he was blinkless. Nope, he has a blink dagger. Nope. You have a blink dagger, man. I'm sorry, you are not blinkless. Alright, guys. This is Chicago Ted casting a scrim between 5-man Roshan squad or 5-man Roshan Rush. I can't exactly remember what their team name is because it's so convoluted. I've got it right on my dashboard. 5-man Roshan Sacrifice and Trash Tier competing in a scrim for the upcoming Reddit Dota 2 League Season 2. This has been Chicago Ted casting the game for you all. Cheers, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did. Good night.